I want to talk about the Trump, like what he's gotten done, because I think a lot of us are like, what is actually getting done, you know? I mean, I see things all the time, but I think a lot of people don't know, you know? Like people just say he's making lots of money and he's made $80 billion this year. Or what?
They say that about Trump?
Yeah.
Really?
80 million, not billion.
Oh yeah. Well,
so,
he did really well with True Social, you know, because that went public and you know, they did really well on that.
Yeah.
I don't know why people are worried about that. Trump's
well,
making
and
his
this whole Gaza thing, Jerrod. Is he really going to build Trump hotels in Gaza after they wipe all the people out? Like, this is a thing. People are talking about this. Jerrod Kushner is out there telling the world the Gaza's going to be the next tax-free billionaire play place, and Trump's got, I mean, that's his son-in-law. Like, it's a thing. It's a thing.
Well, he didn't sign up to not be a businessman when he signed up to be president. And Eric Trump is running his business, and I think he's doing a very good job. We've been actually traveled a couple times to the same places for crypto conferences around the world. But anyway, here nor there, I don't think, just like if you're going to say, okay, I don't want members of Congress to be able to trade stock, but I also don't want them to be able to run businesses. Like, well, wait a second. They don't make that much money, and without either using their campaign account as a slush fund or something. I mean, I think they ought to be able to, you know, do business outside of government, as long as they're not. I think what people are concerned about is, hey, are they leveraging their access and their authority, similar to what the Clintons did, like with the Clinton Foundation? Are they leveraging that for their own good? And that's where I think, you know, they're not going to find any evidence of President Trump doing that. And, you know, also they have to remember President Trump has never taken a salary as president. He donates that money every single month to charities. His kids are, I mean, this is the interesting thing about President Trump is, just look at all of his kids.
I know, right? They actually seem like phenomenal human beings.
They're like amazing people. But
except for his son-in-law, I don't like him.
Kirshner?
Oh yeah, I'm not impressed.
You know what's funny about him?
Now Donald Trump Jr. on the other hand.
Junior. Oh boy. Here's the thing about Kirshner. You know, I have so much respect for him because of his wife. Like, how did he land her? You know, he must be a great guy.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to, anyway.
Well, we'll see what happens in Gaza over the next few years, but I don't know.
Well,
I think there's
we'll
some
see.
shady stuff going on
Do
there.
you know that Israel is basically digging? My understanding is they're going to compete with the Suez Canal.
Oh, really?
They're actually cutting a canal through there, which is quite interesting. These canals are big money. You know, we did a documentary this last year on the Panama Canal, and it's pretty amazing how much money those canals can generate.
So, what in Trump 2.0, the second term, what is going good? What have you seen that he's actually doing well?
Well, in my opinion, the biggest thing is, I think he has better people surrounding him. He's less likely to have people that are thwarting his efforts very close to him. And I think they've been very protective of that because of things that happened during the first term. The problem is that people are still people, right? And these, you know, the executive branch has millions of employees. And obviously a lot of them are standing in the way and wanting to stand against what President Trump is trying to do. And if you're one of the members that gets to sit at that big table when they do the cabinet meetings, each one of those people could have, you know, hundreds of thousands or even millions of people working for them. How do you clean house? You know, I mean, that's challenging. And I think that's what a lot of the focus has been. Like it or not, there's had to have been a lot of cleaning house this first year. And I think the more of that they were successful with, the better we're going to see in terms of results over the next 3 years. Now, part of the reason why I think people give President Trump a lot of rightful credit is a lot of the executive orders that he signed this year were incredible. And it's interesting because of people like Stephen Miller and other people that are on that team. A lot of those executive orders were written in such a way that they could not be rescinded because they were not a kingly dominant demand. They were a recitation of what the existing laws are. And for example, on March 25th, when he signed the executive order on election integrity, he specifically said a number of laws that were not being followed by states like Washington State, and that they had to start following them. And by the way, even within the executive order, it instructed the DOJ to staff up because we were going to start making arrests if these states did not follow these existing laws. So how can a future, Joe Obama come along and terminate that executive order? Even if you did, those laws are still on the books, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think a lot of the stuff that President Trump has done has been very smart in terms of not easily being able to be undone. And I think that over the next year, I think we're going to hopefully see some big, really positive things before the midterms. But I also have this concern about, some big thing happening. COVID happened thanks to China, and who knows who was all involved in that. But in 2019,
right.
And that created an opportunity for a really messy election, and that I don't think was legitimate. And of course the economy just tanked, and we spent, we added $5 trillion to our debt. It was not a good time. But I would say President Trump is, if he was a B+ in his first term, he's an A+ now.
Really?
And I think he's really doing a much better job. There are certainly things that we can pick at, but man, when you have the headwind that he's had to try to get a lot of this stuff done, it's pretty amazing. Who gets an F is Congress.
Right? I don't understand how you can have the president, the House, and the Senate and not
pass any bills.
Pass anything. What is going on?
Which one of the executive orders have they codified into law?
We thought we were just going to see, we should be boom,
yeah,
boom, boom,
hammering
boom,
them out
boom,
every
boom.
single day. How quickly can we get these through before the midterms come along and we potentially lose the House?
Right.
Let's go.
And at this rate, I think it's a very realistic, it's just crazy to me. I feel like they should be passing stuff all the time.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have a lot of members of Congress who don't agree with President Trump, and they're not all Democrats. That's the problem. There are a lot of people in there who love the status quo, they love the establishment, and they want everything to stay as it is. And they're the ones who essentially, they basically, and at one point, I know this happened this last year, is a group of 5 of them went to Speaker Johnson and said, we're going to retire if this bill goes through, because we don't want to vote on this. And it's like, what? How do you deal with that?
Yeah.
And that's on the Republican side. Those are all Republicans.
That's crazy.
So-called conservatives that I guarantee go back to their district and talk about all the great things they're doing in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
The problem is that we have elected this political class in D.C. and they don't submit to us. They don't see it as an honor to be a politician in America. They see it as a maybe something they've earned because they campaign so well or something.
Yeah, well, and I don't think that they recognize that they're representing us. I know that was one of my issues with Newhouse, is that he voted to impeach Trump. Who back here in Tri-Cities, Washington, that you represent wants Trump impeached?
Yeah.
I didn't. Nobody I knew did, but he supported that, and so that to me is a huge issue. You're supposed to represent what I want, and
yeah.
I think that's one thing, Marjorie Taylor Greene has come out and said over and over, my job is to represent my constituents. That is not fighting a war in Israel. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I don't support that anymore. I want what my people want.
Yeah. Well,
And
here,
so-
let me just throw a twist in on this here. So there's an upper house and a lower house. Okay, so the Senate is the upper house, the House is the lower house, the representatives. Now, the lower house is elected every 2 years. The upper house is elected every 6 years. The lower house is like the Green Bay Packers. It's the people's team, right? The upper house is not. The upper house represents the sovereign. So like, for example, Patty Murray and Maria Cantwell, they don't represent you and I. They represent Washington State. They are supposed to, until the 17th Amendment, take their direction from the state legislators. They are actually proxies or electors in the Senate.
Right.
They're supposed to vote how the state legislature says they are supposed to vote. That's how it's supposed to work. Contrast that to the lower chamber, which is the House, which is elected every 2 years. It's very important that it's only 2 years, because this is the distinction between the two, versus 6 years in the upper house. The representatives, because they represent a large number of people, are supposed to make the decision of what they think is right. And if the people don't agree with that, then every cycle they have an opportunity to elect someone else. But the people don't understand that.
Yeah.
And so they think, oh, well, dang it, my representative, I told him I wanted it this way. And it's like, well, he was elected to vote how he thinks it should go. That's how the lower house works. The upper house is different. And so that's also the reason why they put term limits, in a way, on the lower house. Every 2 years you have an election, you get to choose someone new. And that's the way it is. And that's the way, and again, it kind of goes back to this not know and don't care kind of thing that I always talk about. So some of that is, you mentioned Dan Newhouse, some of that is his fault, and some of it is the people's fault, because they stuck with him for so long.
I know. How hard is it to be an incumbent? Because I feel like most people just don't really pay attention, and so it's just name recognition, right? You get that ballot and you're looking at it and you're like, oh, I've heard the name Dan Newhouse before. I'll check that.
Yeah.
I don't think most of the time people even know anything about, people just are not paying, which blows my mind that we're in the state we are, and people still, just for, school board elections just a couple months ago, the turnout is just insane to me. I'm like, how are we getting 14,000 votes out of a population? I don't know how many registered voters there are in Benton County, but I feel like there's a handful of them, and we're getting this tiny, we talked about that earlier. It blows my mind.
It's not good. Well, what do you think? Are you happy with Trump's performance?
Like we said in the beginning, I think the first year I really was. I felt like he was coming in and he was getting stuff done. Doge, now I have my questions about Doge and what that was really about. And next time we do this, we should talk about Palantir and all the other things. But I think he was making pretty good progress. I think he was, doing things. And I think starting with the Epstein thing and then the Charlie Kirk thing, I just don't believe that guy just shot a gun from the lone roof. Really, the lone shooter on the roof? Are we going with this narrative again? And so, for the FBI to come out, and this is someone who, between Charlie Kirk and Joe Rogan, I think that's why Trump is in office, And so, someone that Charlie looked to is like a very close friend, and pushed and pushed and pushed. And for them to not just take 33 hours, really in 33 hours, we just have all the answers. I feel like that's what we're being told. And I'm like, I just don't buy it. And so I'm watching that unfold, and it's just made me, I'm still glad I voted for him. He's definitely better than the alternative. And even now I would still vote for him today, but I definitely have, I'm not as sold seeing some of the things happen that are happening. I really thought we'd have some people from the Epstein files being looked at, arrests made, something just something. And so
I think
that's been very disappointing.
A lot of the American people probably feel the same way. They're like, we want to see accountability. We feel like we've been violated for a lot of years, and now those people that violated us are not being held accountable, and we want to see that accountability.
You look at, if you're talking Epstein and you watch these women, I've watched multiple interviews that they've done, and it's tragic and it's horrible, and these people get away with it because they have money. I do not think that's what America's about, and I think we need to be better, and I think the people we elect need to have what we want, we need to be the most important person, not the billionaire who, I just feel like it's all backwards. I don't know how to get it, how do we get it flipped around? It's not what our forefathers envisioned for our country, I don't think. I think we've gotten so far.
Yeah, we've definitely reverted back to, not in America, but just as a society in the world, we've gone to this really odd, deranged place from a sexual standpoint, to just a lot of the stuff that's happening. And either it was happening and we were just all oblivious to it, or now, I mean, some of the stuff they're trying to justify,
Yeah.
it's like, really? Like you're gonna rename a pedophile to something more friendly? Why?
Yeah. It's,
You know, why would you defend that? You know, I mean, it's just all this stuff is really unhinged. You mentioned Charlie Kirk. You know, I saw it immediately, and I have a lot of guns, and I like to shoot guns, and I have a decent bit of experience with it. And as soon as I saw it, I thought there was something odd about it. But then I talked to some people, and I found out what actually happened. So this is gruesome a little bit, but he was shot. People say he was shot in the neck, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, and the gun was a 30-06, which is very high caliber. That should have, and there was a tent behind him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you should have immediately seen a pretty big splatter on that tent.
Yeah.
But you never saw any.
There's no blood.
And there should have been
I mean,
a big,
there was that blood.
yeah, there should have been a big hole
Right.
out the back of his neck, right? Again, this is gruesome. It's terrible that happened to Charlie. What happened was he had a chest plate on, which he commonly wore. And you can watch this in the video because you'll see his whole body go back. It's not just his neck like this. It's his whole chest goes back because it hit the top of his plate right here and it ricocheted straight up. And the bullet never exited. It stayed in his head because it went straight up into his neck and into his head. That's why he died instantly.
So I think you're going to have to check that, Jerrod, because it's been said that he was not, his security team has said he was not wearing a chest plate.
He was wearing a chest plate.
How do we know that? Like, they've said he's not.
You can see it in the video. It was common knowledge that he did when he went to college campuses.
Yeah, he had, but the guy that made the chest plate, I watched the thing he did, and he's like, yeah, we had quit making them for him a few months before. And not to say that that's why he wasn't wearing them, but I mean, they've come out and said he did not have a chest plate on. Because I've heard that, and that is actually, that would make sense to me because of what we saw, if it was something like that where it kind of like grazed. But
well,
I don't
want to encourage
know.
anybody to go back and watch the video because it's very gruesome. But if you just look at the impact on his body, it was not a neck hit. It was a chest hit because
Yeah.
his whole body went back, meaning that he got hit in his core, and his T-shirt went out like this.
Yeah, it's all very interesting, and that's why I think we just needed more. Like, they just needed to do more investigate. There's just so many things about it that don't feel right to me. You know, they repaved within 48 hours. They repaved where it happened. Like, just weird things that I don't. And you know, I'm sorry. You got to quit telling the lone shooter from the roof narrative. Like, I don't think anybody. Like, it's just like we've done this before.
Well, I'll just say that in today's world, that was not a difficult shot.
No, I believe that. Like, but lots of people say they could do that.
Sadly. What's really sad is that his team didn't. I think they got apathetic. I think they did so many of these events and they just got apathetic and they didn't provide the proper security. Not against them. It's not their fault. People shouldn't be doing that stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, it was just like in Butler.
Yep.
What the heck were they doing?
Same thing. I mean, they're looking at people. Like, there's videos of people looking at the guy at
there's
the
spectators
Charlie
that
Kirk
were
thing.
pointing
They're like,
at the
there's a
dude,
guy
you know?
up there on the roof with a gun. Like, what's happening?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it just doesn't add up. So.
Yeah.
Well, but in terms of your statement, as far as MAGA, there's a lot of people that are jumping on this MAGA is falling or whatever. I don't buy it. We are just as excited, if not more excited, about what's going on. Now, there are a lot of people that are frustrated because they haven't gotten what they voted for.
Mm-hmm.
I think what President Trump has done is highlighted the fact that there's a good portion of our government that's not doing their job. The judicial branch is completely a mess, and I don't think most people knew until the last few years that was happening. Legislative branch, how many bills have been passed in President Trump's first year? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
A handful. I heard 5. Normally they would have passed around 100 during the first year. So obviously they're not, we literally own the House and the Senate and we can't pass any bills.
Yeah.
What is wrong? And why President Trump continues to praise the Speaker of the House and you know, the leader of the Senate, John Thune, I don't get it. I'm like, what are you guys doing? You know, let's pass some bills. Let's codify some of these executive orders. Let's fix our election system.
I have noticed, in 2016 when he got elected and there was so much pushback and so much hate and they were just attacking. I feel like this time they're being so much sneakier about it. Like they're not being so vocal. I feel like they're almost like becoming his friends, but with the same outcome, But now all these never Trumpers are like fans of, Lindsey Graham, and like you've got these people who didn't like Trump who now all of a sudden are like his best friends, but we're still not getting any more of an outcome. So but they're not being so vocal about how much they hate him, and they're not gonna, it's been interesting to watch for sure.
Yeah, this kind of leans into a little bit of a different topic, but I think what you're getting at is something that bothers a lot of people, every single American, is why is there no accountability? We know that over the last few years we've had a myriad of different things. Just today, I read that Kash Patel submitted evidence that the FBI said that they did not, they informed the DOJ that they did not have plausible reason to go and raid Mar-a-Lago when they did that. And the DOJ did it anyways. There's so many circumstances, like there's 50 of those circumstances now, and all of us are like, okay, we know that there were dozens upon dozens, maybe hundreds of people that were hired and paid by the US government to be at January 6th. We know that was a setup. When does accountability happen? What's his name? Ray Epps, for example. Why has there never been any accountability with him?
Yeah.
Why is it that there's still J6ers that are in prison? Why is it that there is no accountability there? And I think, we can go on the COVID debacle, the whole thing, Epstein, the
thousands
Epstein files.
Of people, and one person two people have been arrested and put in jail.
Yeah, there's so many things. But I will say that, Kash Patel endorsed me for Congress. I don't know Dan Bongino, but I know his reputation. I don't know Pam Bondi, but President Trump generally speaks very highly of her. I think that they are there's a couple things going on here. Number one, I think that internally they have to get all their ducks in a row with regards to who their people are, because they can so easily, with thousands of employees underneath Kash Patel, for example, they can so easily have bad information bubbling up or suppression of information that really needs to bubble up, right? That's number one. Number two is we have such a mess within the judicial system, and the Senate is not approving President Trump's, just like right here, Pete Serrano not getting confirmed. Mm-hmm. So many of President Trump's judicial appointments are not getting in. If the DOJ is to bring suit against these people under these circumstances, they might be wasting their time, because you have, some, leftist judge that picks it up and throws it out. Well, then now they have, their Fifth Amendment or, rights to be like, well, that one's, you can't charge me again for that.
Yeah.
The double jeopardy. And so anyway, I think there's a bunch of stuff going on here. I think the next year, over the first probably 6 months of President Trump's term, this current term, most everyone, I think, in our boat was like, it's Christmas every morning.
Yes.
But then it kind of started waning.
I think with the Epstein files, Jerrod, I feel like the Epstein files are what really I think, when he was like, are we still talking about this? It was a Democrat hoax. And you've got 33,000 pages that Pam Bondi said were sitting.
Yeah.
Like, it just felt like he was just lying.
He wasn't lying, but I think there's so much more to that story. The issue with it is Epstein was working for the CIA.
100%.
And so you have to think about it this way, and I'm not justifying it all. I think what happened was disgusting. It was terrible. My understanding, and this is even, being close with some of the people that are involved in that side of it, in terms of like the investigation, the victims, other than whatever the prince or whoever it is in
Prince
England.
Andrew. Yeah. Oh yeah, because what do we
other
have to
than
do with him?
Yeah. All the other ones only claim to have been abused by Epstein, not by other people.
Oh, I don't think that's true. I just read Virginia Frey's book, and I mean, no, there's lots of people.
Really interesting.
And we know,
so
and
I didn't know that.
Most of them are. I mean, a bunch of them are named in the 2017 or 18. When was the actual lawsuit? When they actually put Epstein in jail and Ghislaine Maxwell, they list them. Like, we know their names. Like, there are names of people that we know that there's just no.
Yeah, well, I agree, and I think it was good that at least the House passed, the bill to release that information, and it was an atrocity. And I do think that was one of the first cracks,
Yeah,
as you say,
I think
in
so
terms
too.
of like people going, "What the heck? We thought we were gonna," and
Draining the swamp means draining the swamp. I think
Yeah.
we voted to drain the swamp. And I honestly thought Bongino, Patel, Donald Trump, I thought they were going to be the dream team that was going to come in and just kind of middle finger everyone and really drain the swamp. And I think the last 6 months we've all been like, oh, no, that's not happening.
Well, I'm going to come to their defense, and I'm just going to say I think it takes time. I know that that's what everyone says in politics, but the pressure and trying to organize all the people, just as I just said,
Yeah.
to get moving in the right direction and make sure they have proper cases and the backup and they're not making mistakes, and they, just like this guy that Mangino or whatever supposedly shot the head of what was it, United Healthcare, and now they're potentially looking at maybe even getting him off because they didn't follow some procedures right when they arrested him. Like, really?
Right, technicality.
I mean, some of that kind of stuff. But anyways, I think it takes time, and they're trying to do it the right way.
I think I wish they would just say, look, Epstein was Mossad tied to CIA. We're looking into it. This is a way bigger deal than what we thought it was going to be. There's national security issues at risk. Like, give us some time to figure it out. I think everyone would have respected that, like, don't tell us it's not real. I think that was the thing, but
yeah, you're right.
I mean, I can appreciate that it takes time, but I think there were so many other ways to handle it and to say to people, yes, this is a thing. This is way bigger than what we thought when we came in. We got to sort it out, and there's going to be implications that, a fallout. And I think most of us are like, let the fallout happen, right? Like,
blow it
take
up.
them all down. Let's start over.
Burn it down. Thank you for hanging out with me today.
Yeah,
I'm glad
it's fun.
we got to do this.
I know, it's been a minute.
It's very cool. And hopefully it solves some questions for people that are wondering.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Jerrod.
Yeah, thank you.